Okay, so I know that I'm late, but I am finally going to do this will be my first movie review, and it's going to be on Acrimony that starred Taraji P. Henson and Lyric Bent. Um, but first, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at StarseedBree and subscribe to my YouTube channel below. Okay, so at first, I told myself I wasn't going to watch this movie. It actually came out in 2018 last year. And you guys know it was a Tyler Perry movie. And I actually expected it to end, I expected it to be a whole lot different than it was. But, you know, um, that's, yeah. So basically, she spent her whole, Taraji P. Henson, she spent all of her youth, which was played by Alexis. Um, she played her at her youth, and older, older her was Taraji P. Henson, and her name was Melinda in the movie. And Bent, Lyric Bent, was Antonio at the beginning, and then he became Lyric Bent, played the older him, and he was the character named Robert. So basically, what happened in the movie is she spent all all of her youth. She met him when she was 18, vibrant, young, and she was crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, she was crazy. She spent all of her youth basically taking care of him, working two jobs. She bought him a car, and when she got him that car, he started to talk to her less, because at first it was every night, I love you, we're gonna be married forever, blah blah blah, this that and the third. And he was very attentive. He found out about her money that her mom left her when she died at the beginning of the movie, and I could tell from then on he was going to be using her or whatnot. But I just continued to watch the movie. It was pissing me off because after I started to watch the movie, I knew it was going to happen. So basically, she spent 18 years taking care of a man, and when she finally decides to divorce him, that is when his project, he graduated college, they started living together, and the whole 18 years, basically, he had been working on this battery he was trying to sell to a company. And so she believed in him at first, and then her sisters were actually in her ear. They were telling her, oh, this is not gonna work, this, that, the third, blah 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 blah. And what eventually ended up happening 18 years, right after they divorced, he got a $75 million deal. But she had already wanted a divorce before then. Now, I can say honestly, with a non-biased opinion, that both of them were wrong. Both of them were wrong. He was wrong for using up her youth and her femininity, her vitality. He used her up as much as she let him. She let him use her up, though. Because what you allow is what's going to continue. She let him do that. So there was that. And then at the end, more towards the end, after he won the money, and she realized she made a mistake by listening to her sisters. Because honestly, he tried his hardest not to leave her. He didn't want to leave her, but she was hell-bent on getting the divorce. Now, honestly, in my opinion, I would have left already. I would have been left. I wouldn't have supported him all the way through it, because that's taking up my youth, my happiness. She looked tired. She had permanent bags under her eyes from taking care of this man. Now, but had she not listened to her sisters, she would have been living the life that she was supposed to be living with him after all that suffering. But since she listened to her sisters, she divorced him, and she got a $10 million check. He bought her mom's house back, and he what is he? Yeah, he gave her $10 million. I mean, come on. And honestly, for me, that would have been enough. That would have been enough because he only owed her a little bit over $1 million. So for her to go back at the end and like for her to be stalking him and his wife, for her to be as crazy as she was about that man. I understand she invested all of her time and her youth, but she chose to make that decision. And he was using her as much as she would let him. So, in my eyes, both of them were wrong. But for her to go back after he's given her $10 million, he tried to stay with her, but she was hell bent on leaving. So he went on with the woman he cheated on her with in high school, and that literally like drove her crazy. Now she couldn't have kids, so they didn't have kids because at the beginning of the movie, he when he was caught cheating with this woman, she actually she hit his RV with a Jeep and ended up having to get a hysterectomy before she was even 21 years old. So she was never able to have children with Robert. Now, what really seemed to drive her over the edge is when they were in court again after being stalked, his wife was being stalked, because she'd gotten pregnant by Robert. Like, she was basically living the whole entire life that Robert wanted. But now, I mind you, like, some people might, oh, you're this and you're that. I don't care. Because in my eyes, both of them were wrong. Like I've been saying this whole entire video, both of them were wrong. But for her to go back at the end and kill Robert and make the whole crew jump off the yacht and for her to steal the Christmas dress, she received her karma because she was wrong. She chose to stick with him all those years, give up her youth and believe in him, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, that would not be me. It would not have been me. And she received her karma at the end, which I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm not surprised. Like, she deserved what she gotten because she was not fair. You can't leave and then want something back after they've moved on. He tried to stay with her because he knew that battery was going to come through. But I mean, maybe like his fiance or wife or whatever she ended up being said, maybe she wasn't meant to make it. But in the end, you don't even know really if Robert actually died. So, because he shot her, she shot him, and the pregnant wife was, I guess, hiding or whatever. She actually, Taraji P. Henson, Melinda, was going to go after the wife. But what happened is her foot got caught in the anchor and she drowned to death. And you've seen everybody coming back to cater to Robert, and that's how the movie ended. Now, like I said, that's, in my eyes, in that movie, both of them were wrong. But for her to come back at the end and want something back that she decided she didn't want anymore based off of other people's opinions, her fault. Now, and I wanted to talk about this movie because I think it's a dilemma that I see a lot of Black women, and Black women close to me have went through and gone through because they're so in love, okay? And it's like an old school tactic where the men aren't the men. Like they basically make their woman their woman operate off of their masculine energy, and she wasn't able to take care of herself. None of this, that, and the third. Like, and it wasn't fair because she didn't know any better. But I'm kind of, because her sisters were warning her, but her sisters were also unhappy. Now, for her, like I said, for her to go back and try to sabotage his life and her ended up dying, that was completely her karma, because he tried to stay with her. She wanted a divorce. She listened to her family. He cut her a $10 million check, and she would have been able to live comfortably, do whatever the fuck she wanted. I mean, come on, $10 million, and he only owed her, her calculations, a little bit over $1 million. Now, and he bought the house back. So tell me what you think about the review. If you want me to do any more movie reviews, comment below. Tell me what you think. This is like literally my first movie review. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, like, because I'm too busy doing other things majority of the time, but I had to take a break because I was tired. So, like I said, subscribe to my channel, Starseed Bree, on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram at Starseed Bree. Thank you for watching my video.